So human beings as a species, human beings are so stupid that they poisoned the whole planet. The very planet that was keeping them alive. The human being species is the only one that we could probably see in recorded history, of known history, that poisoned itself. It was so stupid the human beings went out of their way and just poisoned and polluted their water, their atmosphere, even the soil itself. And on top of it, they allowed the ignorance of Dark Age religious myth to continue to allow a vast overpopulation of humans. All this stuff was all at once. It finally started to all catch up to humans in the 21st century. They had all this technology, gone out into outer space, sent robotic probes to other planets. Humans themselves had gone and landed on their moon. But the key point here is that humans were so ignorant, so aggressively stupid, that they poisoned themselves and overpopulated themselves to death. And, of course, destroyed a lot of other animal species, fish and everything along with it. That's, so far, the momentum is, this is the legacy of human beings. That's the legacy of human beings. Here they've been trying to tell us, human beings have been trying to say, so smart. Oh, so smart. Oh, jeez, they're so smart. And human beings have been trying to tell us that via religion, human beings were even special. In fact, they were made by this myth, right? Foolish myth that it is. A myth that, not only are we humans and we're really bright, but, God, this big entity that's separate from us and is really big and knows what's going on. This God thing, it looks like us. Doesn't look like a dinosaur. Nope. Doesn't look like a fish. Nope. And on top of it, looks like a man. And in fact, when the whole thing started, see, this man-God thing, a big, ghost thing starting the whole thing. What he did was he was so homosexual, he made another man first. And he just let the man, by the story here, there's all the stupidity of their myth. Then he just had this man. Then he had to figure out, this guy, he needs somebody to help him on here. He builds, supposedly, this woman, right? A woman. But no, doesn't stop there in foolishness and ignorance. In their religion, they even said, wait a minute, they're not equal, men and women. Oh no. You see, there was this thing that happened in this place, this fabulous, fabricated myth, and the woman screwed it up. And so from then on, throughout history, religious nuts from that tradition, and this is Judaism and Christianity, which was Christianity is the offshoot from Judaism. So is Islam. But they all got these similar mythic base thing about it. And women are, by the myth, by their storyline, women are less. They're just somehow. Don't ask me why. It's in the book. It's in the myths. Folks, isn't that just lunatic stuff here in the 21st century? How can anybody think that's an actual event in the 21st century? In the 21st century, after digging in the earth, after studying the biology, after going astronomy, after sending our spacecraft, after the Hubble Space Telescope, after all the research that's been going on in human DNA and medical research and all sorts of stuff, it totally vaporized the myth of the God. Not only the Judeo-Christian Islam God idea, also the Hindu God, and anybody who's got a God. It doesn't matter if there's one, if there's 500. It's all made up by ignorant people from 2,000 years ago. And you've let it drift on without anybody really getting a hand on it and say, now wait a minute. That's myth. That's just myth. And on top of it, you're using that myth to justify repression of people. In particular, different races, different religions, but also homosexuals or women. Also, you're using your myths, your ignorances from 2,000 years ago to continue trying to push the idea of repression that says repression is okay, segregation is okay. See, at some point in the 21st century, we've passed that line. We do not consider it valid at all. This religious crap is not valid at all because of what it's used for. Repression. Segregation. Denial of access to services of all types. Blocking women's freedom of movement. Trying to keep them in a house. They can't even go outside unless, they got to only go if they go with a male who's a member of their family. And on some of them are really whacked out, women have to cover their whole body. Whole body. They have to walk around in a sack with just a little slit in the fabric so they can look out. And even then, some of those sacks will even have a screen across that. So that if, you were looking at this sack, this walking sack, well, you'd talk to it, but with that little screen across there, you still wouldn't really be able to see their face, their eyes. And they got their hands and arms all covered. I mean, lunatic stuff. That's not religion. That's so overtly repression. Right? Well, it's also these wackos who are trying to say, you can't get access to birth control. Oh, no. You can't have an abortion. Oh, no. Oh, geez, no. Why? They're sticking their nose, their business in to try and dominate and control others. And at the same time, when you look at it, those are the same people, Republicans, who vote against funding for babies. They vote against health care, vote against help for the pregnant mother. They vote against the woman or the parents to have time off for their kid. Then yet they're still trying to tell you, babies. Oh, you just gotta have, more. Did I say babies? Overpopulation. You see it everywhere now. It's marching up from all points Latin America to your southern border. It's coming across this big wave of immigrants. It's also coming out of Africa. Poverty, overpopulation, from babies. India, in Malaysia, China. There's one, you can find it easily. There's one where they so poverty, right? That there's this big fields where they dump trash. It's in Malaysia or somewhere in Asia. And it's one of many places. So they're dumping the trash there. Because like that, they're just like all humans. They're so stupid they haven't figured out what to do with their trash. Well, here they come out in their big trucks and they dump the trash. It's a big field of trash. Well, people are so desperate. It's been so overpopulated. And that there's no economy. And so they're in poverty. That people, and kids even, of course, are right there. And when it dumps out this trash, these big dump trucks dump out the trash, they're leaping right in there and digging through it. And trying to find anything of food or recyclable value, maybe a little bit of wire or copper wire, all this type of stuff. And they're barefoot, ragged ass, poverty. From the ignorance of saying, you can't have access to abortion, you can't have access to birth control. Making people suffer. making it worse. Their religions have been making it worse. Look at this, the ridiculous stupidity of the drug war. There it is again. What is it based on? Religion. A religion that says, no, you can't do behaviors. Oh, no, you can't gamble. Oh, you can't have access to alcohol. No, you can't. Oh, geez, you can't get intoxicated, geez. And no, you can't have sex. That's what these Christian wackos in particular have been pushing. This repression. It's just stunningly so ignorant to think that somehow humans, have a big interest in sex. Humans do have a pretty good interest in some amount of gambling. And humans do have an interest of some amount of intoxication. And yet here comes this wingnut, dumbass religions saying none of it. None of it. Nothing. No. Nope. Nope. None of it. Oh no. Denial. Repression. Well, what would be the whole thing of that policy? It's never ending. It's an endless repression. It's an endless police state. Because people like sex. People like to have a little bit of intoxication in some amounts here and there. People like to have some amount of gambling, all of which is not a problem. Religion made it a problem. Religion is responsible for the criminality that they generated from their morality. It was their morality of repression that instantly made Al Capone a multimillionaire. That instantly made Pablo Escobar and other drug gangs guys throughout the era. That instantly made millions upon millions of bucks going year after year to the mafia, who turned around and built Las Vegas, in fact, as well as being big builders and, prostitution places and gambling places in Cuba, in the Batista dictatorship. You look it up. America supported this dictator, crushing human rights, murdering people who were, came up against him. And the American Mafia went down there and just got the okay, and the Batista got a kickback for all the building and all the activity and all the money that came in. He got his cut. And so they had big brothels, they had big gambling casinos and whatnot in Cuba. And finally, the Cuban people got pissed off at this dictator brutalizing them, and drove them out and threw out the mafia as well. Why does this thing happen here, Why force it as soon as you made it illegal, as soon as you made it a business enterprise that was there? The mark is already there. In fact, the culture and the history of it's there. But you listen to these Christian wacko nuts that the only thing to do is denial, repress, send them to jail. They smoke pot, put them in jail. Put them in jail? Here in the 21st century, that's just more and more obviously insane. It ain't religion, or it's really one dumbass religion. And I think it's the dumbass religion. And religion said stupid things. Religion said myth, because they didn't know anything. And they clung to that myth through the centuries. Remember Galileo? Here's the Catholic Church, they were ready to kill Galileo. Why? Because he actually went out and looked. He dared to actually go out and look up in the sky, see what's going on with Jupiter, actually looked, made his own telescope, studied it, analyzed it, recorded his findings, and published them. And the Catholic Church in particular said, "Oh, you son of a bitch." And the Catholic Church brought him in and was going to kill him, like they had done hundreds, thousands of people before, who dared to actually look, who dared to actually mention, this thing might be really just myth. It's what's your real reasoning behind this whole mythic thing of the God and whatnot? Murdered women left and right because women were actually, some of them, even in this repressive age, were actually showing too much individuality, too much reality. Religion. In the 21st century, it is like so gone. Needs to be. Because you see what they're doing. Well, it was not just the religion here, it's the whole economic system for the planet. It didn't matter the name. It didn't matter if you call it communism, socialism, capitalism, dictatorship, king, emperor. It didn't matter. All it meant was this little group of rich were going to dominate everybody through violence because they control the police, they set up the rules, they set up the laws, they built the prisons. And then everybody else is poor and keeps the rich rich. And in doing that, the rich are making all these products and things throughout the whole economies all over the world. And they're using all sorts of technology. And they're using all sorts of energy power sources, oil, coal, nuclear, all of which are highly toxic, poisonous. And they're making all this crap, and it's polluting everything. Everything about them. The economy is toxic, is poisoning the whole planet, destroying everything. The economic system, the economic model of profit, mega profit, was the justification, was the measure for success. Profit. Well, folks, as we have seen in the history here that we know, profit meant there's no ethics. There's no justice. There's no humanity. Not even really morality, is there? All they care about, you made a profit. You're rich. You get special treatment. You can get in at the restaurants without waiting. You cut in line. Oh, he's rich. You're never going to go to jail. Even though you're guilty as crap like Trump is. Totally guilty. But like a rich, they're not going to go to jail. They made it a whole system, so that's only where poor people go. Middle class, poor people go to jail. Even though the rich guys are doing the very same thing the middle class guy is doing, well, the rich guy, he ain't going to jail. The whole economic system, toxic. The whole religious system, fraud, repression, overpopulation, poison and pollution of the whole planet. The humans were trying to tell us they're so smart, so intelligent. Oh boy, oh yeah, they're smart, all right. Oh gosh, they're smart. And so frequently, now that this, is kind of coming up as more obvious, this is the point. A lot of people are actually saying, "No, wait a minute, you said you're so smart. How did you so smart that you poisoned the very planet and all the sources of things that keep you alive? The water, the air you breathe. Your cancer rates are going sky high. And it's because you live under this umbrella of toxicity. The water you have, toxic. And it's all been made that way through the economy, the system of economics that you allowed. And the attitude that corporations were more important than you. That what they wanted was what was given to them first. And you didn't matter. Because profit, for Republicans, profit is more important than you. For this whole worldwide economic system, profit is more important than you. Reap what you sow. But humans said we're so smart. And we're so spiritual. Oh yeah, we get this direct collect. We're directly connected to the God guy. He looks like us. He does. Lunacy, allowed to perpetuate. Humans claim they were so smart. They destroyed the whole thing.